welcome back. Piper has her coat on. It's a beautiful day, but it's a little bit chilly outside. She doesn't love running around in that, but it keeps her warm. Visas get really cold. Today is a perfect day for me to come back and cut back perennials. I don't cut back a lot, only a few. I like to keep a lot of the foliage on my plants, especially since we get pretty cold. Not super cold, but kind of cold here in the winter and we have snow. I just like to leave that foliage on to help protect the plant a little bit. But there are a few plants that I do like to cut back. I like to cut back my hostas and I like to cut back my lavender. Another thing I'll probably cut back are my Veronicas, just the blooming part, not the base. I'll leave the base for a little protection. Then I'm going to cut my peonies all the way down to the ground. I'm going to take you around and show you what I do, and it'll feel nice to have this chore done. I just have this chore and a couple more chores to do, and then I'm done for the fall, and I can kind of put my garden to sleep for the winter, and I'll be glad to have a little bit of rest, and I'll be able to plan for next spring. Let's get to cutting back some perennials. Hi, sit, let's see your coat. Come here, sit. Piper, come here. Look, sit. She doesn't like sitting when it's cold. You don't like it, huh? You look so cute in your coat. All right, go play. So I have some lavender over here. So this lavender's going on its 4th year and it has gotten kind of woody because I have just learned that, well, I learned last year that you need to cut it back quite a bit to avoid this getting really woody. And if you can see what I'm saying, it's woody down here. Now I can come and cut this back to anywhere I see green growth, so you can see there's a little bit of green here and there's even some green down there, so I can still cut this back pretty far, which is nice. But sometimes if you cut it back you can kind of kill it off if you're not careful. So I'm trying to prevent my other lavenders from getting like this one, because this is a little bit too big and bushy. Even though it's still beautiful, it's gotten a little bit woody. And you can see when you look at it, it's just not as pretty as ones that are just better kept. And so I'm gonna come and cut this one back, and let me show you some other ones that I've taken better care of. So these lavenders I have cut back every year. These didn't get quite enough sun that I think they would like here in this spot, but I still kind of like them here, so I'm going to leave them. And I'll just cut these back to the base here. And then let me show you the one in front, which is just beautiful right now. And I have taken care of that one pretty good. I have some other lavender here you can see that I'm going to cut back, and I'm going to cut them back in like a mound shape, so kind of like a little ball that's mounded, and that's the best way to do it for sure. And then this one in front here is just so happy, and I just love it. It's blooming right now, and I'll come back and cut this one too. As you can see, this one gets plenty of sun. It's in the perfect spot. I've cut it back, I've taken good care of it, and so that's what keeps it coming back and not getting super woody at the base. So let's get going on those. Okay, so if you look in here, hopefully you guys can see. I'll try and move this a little closer. So if you look in here, you don't want to cut back any further than there's green growth, like I mentioned before. And there's actually even some new growth coming in down here, which is kind of nice. So these I'm only going to cut down to like right here where I cut down last year. So I'll do a little bit higher than that. Yeah, that's a good point of reference. Do it mounded. Pull a bunch together so it's a little faster instead of doing each individual one. And then I can look at it, and I can even go down further if I want. I don't think I'm going to want to, but I can. Can always cut back more. You can't put any back, so I like to be careful in the beginning. Some woody stems that have actually died that I'm gonna cut back. Sorry, someone's using a saw somewhere. Okay, so that looks good. I've got it in a nice little mounded shape, so like this, which is what you want, and it'll look beautiful when it flushes back in the spring. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing to all mine. Piper, come on, come on. Are you so happy to be outside? Go, go, go. Your coat's bugging you, huh? Maybe I'll take it off in a minute. And then I have a lot of Veronicas. These are the ones that I transplanted, and as you can see, they kind of started to grow up from the base here. So these ones I will cut all the way down to the base, but these other ones that look pretty good, I'm just gonna cut the bloom off, and that will give them some protection for winter. I also have quite a few up front. The blue Skywalker, I think these are like Princess Layla, something like that. But anyway, I'll cut those back too. So here are the peonies, so I'll just cut them all the way back to the ground. I'll keep the mulch on there, but I have realized that it's probably a good idea to pull the mulch away during the summer season to help prevent fungus growing underneath there. So I'll probably do that next year, but for now, I'm just gonna leave the mulch for the winter. This is where all my hostas are, well, at least most of them. So I'm gonna cut them all back. I think last winter I kept them till spring, but I did read it's best to cut the foliage back in the fall because a lot of snail eggs can harbor there, and I definitely had kind of a snail issue back here and slugs with all these holes. When you see these holes, that kind of means you got slugs munching on your plants. So all the bright yellow things you see are hostas, and we had a frost, and so they're ready to be cut back, and I'm gonna hit them all now. Okay, so we got all of that done. We got the peonies cut back, which needs to be done in the fall. The hostas is better to do in the fall because of snails and slugs. The Veronica, I just think it looks better, and I cut it back to where there's new growth that's happened in the last couple months. And the lavender, because I just think it's better to do it in the fall before it starts to grow, and it makes it look nice and tidy in the garden. So let's flip around and look at a few things and talk about what we did. And this spot without the peonies, it looks all fresh and clean. I actually kind of like that look right now, a little bit open. I did move the mulch across the top of those just a little bit, but they will be totally fine. And then here's the Veronica that I cut back. This one also had new growth, so I just cut it back to new growth, and that will be enough to protect it. So everything should be really good now. And that is it. So thanks so much for joining me as I cut back some perennials in the fall. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.